Okay, so this is my testimony. I don't even really know where to begin. I guess I could just say that I've always kind of known that, excuse me, that something was different about me from a child. My earliest, well, I had plenty of early memories, but my earliest memory was I remember having a dream about the Messiah returning. And I remember people were sitting on the rooftops trying to get a good look at what was going on with lawn chairs. And I just remember this dream. And I remember waking up, and I had to be about 7 years old. And I ran to my mom and I told her, Mom, I know I'm going to be there when the Messiah comes. Well, at the time, Jesus, because we were Christians. And I was so excited. And I just remembered always being excited about prayer. And as a child, I used to lay hands on people. And I was not aware that I had healed people from my prayers. My mom used to send me to pray. She's recently told me at least 2 family members that I prayed for were healed through my prayers. Several different occurrences of spiritual activity happened as a child. I was actually born dead to a mother that was never supposed to have children. And the story is that she had her Bible next to the bed and she put her hand on the Bible and she said, "You promised me." She cried out to the Most High, "You promised me." And the doctor was holding me. My dad, he worked at UCLA Medical. He said he had never seen a shade of purple. Me being fairly light, at birth, I was practically no skin color at all. Babies come out fairly fair or, pale, very pale. He said I was a dark shade of purple he had never seen before. The doctors were holding me away from my mother, and as she said that, I opened my eyes and looked at the doctor to the point where he almost dropped me. My dad and the nurses kind of reached out to catch me, and that was the beginning of it all. I've seen so many things in my lifetime, but I've also always been very rebellious. Just angry. My parents were divorced at a young age. I saw a lot of fighting. My father is an off again, on again drug addict. My mother is victim of abuse that abused me mentally, physically. I was left alone a lot as a child. I was a latchkey child. I was always fearful. I remember at a young age, I remember feeling presences in my home when I would be alone, of demons. I knew that they were demons then. I know that they're demons now. And I don't know why this is making me emotional, but it is. I've had my life almost taken several times. A shotgun held to my head by a childhood friend that was loaded and cocked. Little did he know. Drive-by shooting right across my window as I looked the shooter in his eyes. Just different, they almost drowned. Different things, just plenty of different things. My life has been a roller coaster of situations since I can remember. And I've always been not wanting to be, but the center of attention for some reason or another. Smart but it never was because I tried. I tried not to be the center. I tried not to be the smart one. I wanted to blend in because I wanted friends and I wanted to be accepted. And finally I convinced myself that I didn't want what I really wanted and I was fine being alone. So I became a rebel, a rule breaker. I would do whatever, lie, steal, cheat. Well, never really cheating. I would always be the one they were cheating off of, but still just willing to break the rules because I felt like no one cared. So I did that until I got to my teenage years and I started being promiscuous. I got pregnant my first year. I went to college. I got accepted to college when I was in the 9th grade. I ended up going to college when I graduated at the age of 16. My mother never let me have a childhood. She kept me in program after program every summer. I never got to play with people or, I didn't have a normal childhood. I protected my mother. I was big for my age. I was her defender. I was her check balancer. I was the bill payer. I was her study mate when she was in college. I used to do her homework for her when she didn't understand. Only child, just me and my mom, and I was trying to help her make it. She was always the victim. I was always trying to rescue her. 16, I got scholarships to go out of state. My mom wouldn't let me. I ended up staying and going to a college in California. I got scholarships. I didn't take it seriously. I was burnt out. I wanted to live, I was ditching and doing everything that I thought I wanted to do because I could at this point. I had an older boyfriend. I'm 16. I had a 24. I believe he was 25-year-old boyfriend at the time. Gangbanger. Getting caught up in drama, trying to escape the drama that my mom was bringing to my life. She had a relationship with a childhood friend of mine's father who was still married to their mother and actually had a crush on him, and he died of meningitis. Caught it at his college at Dominguez Hills. There was an outbreak of meningitis that went around the campus, and he caught it and he died thinking that I was in on their affair. He wouldn't speak to me. He felt like my mom and I ruined his family, and that was the beginning of my downfall. I just went wild. I started smoking weed and, like I said, being promiscuous. Not really looking for love, trying not to find love, trying to keep people at bay, having more boys around that I could use as I saw fit. Just everything that I never really was, I was doing it. And at this point, I strayed away from my faith, although I always felt like the Father's hand was on me and he was protecting me and keeping me. I felt like that was a reason that I could do what I wanted to do because I had his favor and he would protect me, which he always did. I met my kid's father. I had a child. I started trying to do better for myself and for my son. I stopped being so open and letting people in my life, and I started shutting things down. I started trying to protect myself and my son from outsiders. But I still was doing a lot of illegal activity as far as just whatever I could to make money. Never really selling myself, but still just stealing, I guess you could call it. computer situations, profile situations, just different situations that I would find myself in to make illegal money. People would come to me for these things because I was becoming good at it and I was getting away with it, and I did it. I furnished a whole apartment based on stolen, I guess you could say, stolen money. It wasn't actual money that I stole from anywhere. It was credit cards and this and that, stuff like that. I never got in trouble for anything that I ever did, because people trusted me. When they saw me, they instantly took a liking to me. They always talked about my light, and I was using that light for darkness, for personal gain, for selfish, just for my own will. I tried to make it right several times, but every time it would just get worse and worse. I started being introduced to plenty of lesbians that were introducing me to the nightlife. I started taking ecstasy, overdoing it. By this time, I was smoking weed and drinking heavily. I had my second child at the age of 30, and I began to party, something that I was never into. I've always been an avid reader, a homebody, never really, very nerdy, book smarty, no street smarts really. But at this time, I started hanging out in the streets and going out 2, 3, 4 times a week, taking ecstasy excessively. I progressed from there, going through the relationship with my kid's father, both of my children by the same man. We would go back and forth. I would try to be with someone else. He would move away. We would get back together. I had been with him since I was 17, had my first child at 20 by him, had my second child at 30 by him. We tried again, had my next child at 32, right? Well, roughly, 31. So now we have 3 children. Relationship is starting to get violent. He's violent with me. He's jeopardized my life. He's had me smoke sherm. He's held cocaine under my nose. He was a drug dealer. He introduced me to everything that he could. I refused the cocaine. I did do the sherm. I was just a risk taker. I never wanted to try cocaine or crack because my dad was addicted to that, and I felt like if I tried it, it would become me. So I never tried that, but I tried everything else. Well, not everything, like I said, pills, weed, heavy alcohol, heavy pills as well with him, the sherm. I then tried to start over. I have been exposed to some of the truth, and I started to tell him, I felt like we were supposed to be together and we needed to be a family, and, let's move away to start our family over and just give it another try. He had been cheating, and he lied. We had begun fighting each other and abusing each other. So he was constantly cheating on me. I moved away from the city that we were from and moved 100 miles away because I really wanted to leave the state, but I had never left the state that I was in. So I moved away to try to get a new life.